Shalom, my Hebrews and Shebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple on this nice and chilly day. It's 32 degrees right now. I don't know what happened to spring, but it did a bipolar reversal here. Anyway, um, yesterday, again, these prophets, getting these prophets read is on camera. Has been quite the task. Anyway, here we are. Um, Day 18, or what is it, day 17? I don't know. Day 17. Day 18. Day 18. My apologies. Day 18. A nation under siege. There's a lot of false information going around today, guys. Y'all are going to have to do your own research on everything you hear. Of course, I tell you that all the time anyway, but I don't really know what their agenda behind all this is, but there is a ton of fake news, even amongst those who would normally be shooting it straight with you. Um, and I don't want to mislead anyone and saying, "Oh, this ain't all that bad," or "Oh, this is terrible. We're all going to die." Do your own research. Do what's best for your family. So, with that said, uh, welcome to Hanging with the Prophets. I'm going to do this video first this morning. We'll see what happens. Uh, as per this session of study on the Oilfields Disciple channel. We just read through the scriptures. If you're new, welcome. Thank you for checking it out. If you're returning, thank you for hanging with me here. What we're going to do is we're just going to read through the scriptures. If I have some kind of commentary, I will iterate it as we read through it. But mainly the purpose of this is just to get the scriptures in you like a good medicine would do. And so, with that said, let's read Isaiah chapter 19, and then we will read Joel chapter 2. Isaiah 19, or Yeshayahu 19:1 says, "The message concerning Egypt. See, Yahweh is riding on a swift cloud, and he shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall tremble at his presence, and the heart of Egypt melt in its midst. And I shall stir up Mitzrites against Mitzrites, and shall fight each one against his brother, and each one against his neighbor, city against city, rain against rain." Let me flip the camera around because that's what we do here. Um, that would be what we call a heater treater. It separates the oil, water, and gas and puts it in its relative place. It also heats the oil up, making it easier to separate. When we do our daily bread today, I'll find somewhere cool to be. Give you something decent to look at. So, verse 3, "And the spirit of Egypt shall vanish within them, and I destroy their counsel. And they shall seek the idols and the mutterers, and mediums and sorcerers. And I shall deliver the Egyptians into the hand of a cruel master, and a fierce king shall rule over them, declares Master Yahweh of hosts. Waters shall fail from the sea, and the river wasted and dried up, and the rivers shall stink, and the stream shall be weak and dried up. Reeds and rushes shall wither. Bare places by the river, by the mouth of the river, and every sown field by the river shall wither. It shall be driven away, and be no more. And the fishermen shall lament, and all those who cast hooks into the river shall mourn, and they shall spread nets on the waters, and they who spread nets on the waters shall pine away. And those who work in fine flax, and those who weave fine fabric shall become ashamed, and its foundation shall be crushed. All the wage workers grieved in being. The princes of Zoan are only fools. The counsel of Pharaoh's wise ones has become senseless. How do you say to Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of the ancient kings? Where are they? Where are your wise men? Let them show you, and let them know what Yahweh of hosts has counseled against Egypt. The princes of Zoan have become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They, the cornerstone of her tribes, have led Egypt astray. Yahweh has mixed a perverse spirit in her. Yahweh has mixed a perverse spirit in her midst, and they have led Egypt astray in all her work, as a drunkard strays in his vomit. And there is no work for Egypt by either head or tail, palm branch or bulrush. In that day Egypt shall become like women, and tremble and fear because of the waving of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he waves over it. And the land of Yehudah shall be in fear of Egypt, verse 17. And the land of Yehudah shall be in fear to Egypt. Everyone who mentions it, fear for himself because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which he has counseled against it. In that day 5 cities in the land of Egypt shall speak the language of the Canaan, and swear by Yahweh of hosts. One is called the city of destruction. In that day a slaughter place to Yahweh shall be in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a standing column to Yahweh at its border. And that shall be for a sign, and for a witness to Yahweh of hosts in the land of Egypt. When they cried to Yahweh because of the oppressors, he sends them a Savior and a great one, and shall deliver them. And Yahweh shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know Yahweh in that day, and make slaughtering and meal offering, and shall make a vow to Yahweh and pay it. And Yahweh shall smite Egypt, smite it and heal it, and they shall turn to Yahweh, and he shall hear them and heal them. In that day there shall be a highway from Egypt to Asher, and Asher shall come to Egypt, and Egypt into Asher, and Egypt shall serve with Asher. In that day Israel shall be one of 3 with Egypt and Asher, even a blessing in the midst of the earth, whom Yahweh of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed is Egypt, my people, and Asher, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. Ezekiel chapter 14 will help you kind of understand um, what Isaiah is talking about right there. Um, let's go to Joel chapter 2. You know, we might be able to just go ahead and knock Joel out today. What do y'all think? Yeah? Let's do it. Joel chapter 2. Verse 1 says, Blow a shofar in Zion, and sound an alarm in my set-apart mountains. Let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble, for the day of Yahweh is coming, for it is near. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness, like the morning clouds spread over the mountains. A people, many and strong, the like of whom has never been, nor shall there ever be again. After them the years of many generations. Ahead of them a fire has consumed, and behind them a flame burns. Before them the land is like the Garden of Eden, and behind them a desert waste. And from there is no escape. Their appearance is like the appearance of horses, and they run like steeds. As the noise of chariots, they leap over mountaintops. As the noise of a flaming fire consuming stubble. As a mighty people set in battle array. Before them, peoples are in anguish. All faces become flushed. They run like mighty men. They climb the wall like men of battle. Everyone goes his way. They do not break ranks. And they do not press one another. Everyone goes in his path. They fall among the weapons, but they do not stop. They rush on the city. They run on the wall. They climb into the houses. They enter at the windows like a thief. The earth shall tremble before them, the heavens shake, sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars withdraw her brightness. For the description we're reading here, it sounds like the great and terrible day of the Lord. You ever wonder why it's called the great and terrible day of the Lord? I hear a lot of people, I can't wait for the Lord to come back. Well, you know, that's going to be a glorious day. Absolutely. That's the greatness. The terrible day is it's game over. You're either his or you're not. And for those that are not, it's going to be a sad day, not only for those um, that perish at the judgment seat, but I believe those of us who are welcomed in will see our loved ones and our friends and those we care about judged to eternal hell. That's why he says in Revelation that he'll wipe every tear from the eyes. Feel me? Give me a drink of coffee here. Verse 11. And Yahweh shall give forth his voice before his army, and for his camp, and is very great. For mighty is the doer of his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very awesome. Who does bear it? Yet even now, declares Yahweh, turn to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping and mourning, and tear your heart and not your garments, and turn back to Yahweh your Elohim, for he shows favor, and is compassionate, patient, and of great loving commitment, and he shall relent concerning the evil. Who knows? He might turn and relent, and leave a blessing behind him, a grain offering and a drink offering for Yahweh your Elohim. Blow a shofar in Zion, set apart a fast, and call an assembly. Now remember yesterday, we read in Matthew where some demons are cast out only by um, fasting and prayer. Fasting is an important asset and part of the believer's life. Um, whether it be a 24-hour fast or a 3-day fast or a 7-day fast. Um, 7 days is the most I've ever fasted. Um, they told me after I had my heart attack, your days of fasting are over. Yeah, right, whatever. If I need to fast, I'm going to fast. Verse 16, gather the people and set the assembly apart, assemble the elders, gather the children and nursing babes, and let a bridegroom come out from his room, and a bride from her dressing room. Let the priests, servants of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the slaughter place, and let them say, spare your people, O Yahweh, and do not give your inheritance to reproach for the nations to rule over them. Why should they say among the peoples, where is your Elohim? And let Yahweh be jealous for his land, and spare his people. And let Yahweh answer and say to his people, see, I am sending you the grain, and the new wine, and the oil, and you shall be satisfied by them, and no longer do I make you a reproach among nations. And the northerner I shall remove far from you, and drive him away into a dry and deserted land, with his face toward the eastern sea, and his rear toward the western sea. And his stench shall come up, and his smell rise, for he has done greatly. Do not fear, O soil, be glad and rejoice, for Yahweh has done greatly. Do not fear, you beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness shall spring forth, and the tree shall bear its fruit. The fig tree and the vine shall yield their strength. And you children of Zion, be glad and rejoice in Yahweh your Elohim, for he shall give you a teacher of righteousness, and cause the rain to come down for you, the former rain and the latter rain as before. And the threshing floors shall be filled with grain, and the vat shall overflow with new wine and oil. Then I shall repay you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the crawling locust, and the consuming locust, and the gnawing locust, my great army, which I sent among you. Then you shall eat and be satisfied, and shall praise the name of Yahweh your Elohim, who has done with you so wondrously, and my people shall never be put to shame. And you shall know that I am in your midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh your Elohim, and there is no one else. And my people shall never be put to shame. And after this it shall be that I pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men dream dreams, and young men see visions. And also on the male servants and on the female servants I shall pour out my spirit in those days. And I shall give them signs in the heavens, and upon the earth blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun turned to darkness and the moon to blood, before the coming and great awesome day of the Lord. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there shall be an escape, as Yahweh has said, and among the survivors whom Yahweh calls. Chapter 3. For look, in those days and at that time, when I turn back the captivity of Yehudah and Jerusalem, then I shall gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I shall enter into judgment with them. there for my people, my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. And they have divided up my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a young man for a whore, and sold a girl for wine, and drank it. And also, what are you to me, O Zoar, and Sidon, and all the coasts of Philistia? Are you repaying me? And if you are repaying me, I would swiftly and speedily return your reward on your own head. For you have taken my silver and my gold, and brought my treasures into your temples. And the people of Yehuda and the people of Jerusalem you have sold to the sons of Joan, to remove them far from their borders. See, I am stirring up out of the place to which you have sold them, and I shall return on your own head what you have done, and shall sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the people of Yehuda, and they shall sell them to the Shebaiotes, to a nation far off, for Yahweh has spoken. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for battle. Wake up the mighty men, and let the men of battle draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. Hasten and come, all you nations, and gather together all around. O Yahweh, let your mighty men come down here. Let the nations be aroused.